I am Alice Keeler. I am a high school math teacher and I curate the blog alicekeeler.com. I'm here to share with you tonight about Back to Classroom. If you go to backtoclassroom.org, we are sharing all kinds of tips about how to use Google Classroom and tools that work really well with Google Classroom. Now, our main topic is sharing student ideas with Google Slides because, of course, Google Slides works really well with Google Classroom. So I hope you'll join me. Go to backtoclassroom.org. Now, once you put it in, it might not show up right away. You'll have to push enter twice, but it will go and you're going to join our Facebook group. So this is going to be a great place for us to have conversations about Google Slides and Google Classroom and how we get student ideas to be shared more. Google Slides is a presentation tool, and I would be presenting to present student ideas. So if you have comments about that, if you have tips and ideas about how to use Google Classroom, please go to backtoclassroom.org and join in the conversation. We'll be talking about products like Adobe for Education, which is free for teachers, Schoolytics, which is also free for teachers, and Moat, that is free for teachers. And then some of these have a freemium version, but you can be very functional doing so many things with these other tools that enhance your experience with Google Classroom. So please feel free to add into the chat and the comments here any questions that you have. I would love to answer them as we share about student ideas using Google Slides. So thanks for being here. Okay, so we're using hashtag Back to Classroom if you want to share any of these tips or ideas out on social media. And we're going to start with, I love Google Slides. I love Google Slides. In fact, I like to tongue-in-cheek, I like to say, don't use Google Docs. Don't use Google Docs because I can be more creative with Google Slides. Don't use Google Docs because I can give individual feedback to students on my own slide as a feedback slide. Don't use Google Docs because Google Slides is multimedia. I mean, basically, what can you not do with Google Slides that you can do in a Google Doc? Heck, you can go to the File menu, go to Page Setup, and do 8.5 by 11. So if you really want to be able to print it on paper size, you can do that with Slides also. So I love Google Slides as I feel like they just help me to be more creative with my students. And so again, tongue-in-cheek, I mean, of course, I was using Google Docs even today. I use Google Docs, but tongue-in-cheek, I'd like to share with you, don't use Google Docs. Use Google Slides. Use Google Slides. Okay, so why use Google Slides? Because it is collaborate. We're going to collaborate with Google Slides. We're going to get multiple students on the same slides. Now, getting multiple students on the same Google Doc is obviously also possible, but trying to compete for that cursor space is a challenge. And so with Google Slides, every student gets their own slide. And so you can use Google Slides to allow students basically their own blank piece of paper, but we're going to be on the same Google Slides. So let me show you how easy it is to collaborate in Google Slides using Google Classroom. So here I have a Google Classroom sample. And I'm going to go to the classwork page because that's, of course, where we create assignments. And I'm going to use the create button to create an assignment. Now, my bestest best tip is to number all of your assignments with a hashtag and a 3-digit code. So I'm going to do hashtag 056. And we are going to collaborate and share ideas about retirement. Those came up in my class today. We were having a critical thinking discussion around an image, and one of the students says, "What's net worth?" And that started a whole conversation into graduated taxes and the math behind that. And since I'm a math teacher, it was really great. So how can we be ready to retire? I want to get student ideas around this as we have mathematical conversations. Now, of course, this is good for any subject, any grade level. So I'm going to ask the students to please add a slide, put your name in the speaker notes, and on the slide, share your ideas. All right, so then all I have to do is in this assignment, I'm going to click the plus icon to attach a new item. And I'm going to attach Google Slides, because that's what we're talking about tonight. Google Slides. I'm going to attach a Google Slides. Now, the default when you add Google Slides, or if you add anything into a Google Classroom assignment, is View. I'm going to click back over on this tab so I can look at this assignment, and you'll see that it says students can view file. Students can view file. So that's students get my ideas. Students see my presentation. And tonight we're talking about sharing student ideas. So what we want to do is we want to switch this from students can view file to students can edit file. Switch over to students can edit. That middle option means collaborate. The top option says look at my stuff. The middle option says collaborate. And the bottom option says make a giant pile of paperwork for yourself. Oh, I try to avoid that as often as possible. I want all students on the same Google Slides. This is seriously one of my favorite activities to do with students. I get everyone on the same Google Jamboard, or I get everyone on the same slides, and I get student ideas to be shared. So the real key here is, again, that middle option, students can edit file. Okay, all right, so then I'm going to come over here. This was number 56. I just like to, you don't have to, have the assignment number and the assignment number in the title, just so as I'm walking around, we can confirm everyone knows we're working on assignment number, in this case, 56. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about retirement ideas. I try to just keep it short, but just a real quick reminder of what we're going to do in the slides. And usually I do nothing. This is about student ideas, not about my ideas, and I just love having blank slides. You know, I love having blank slides. I don't have to do any work. I can just get up in the morning, get my coffee, go to school, and I don't have to prep up too much in advance because my slides are blank. I'm going to have the students populate the slides instead of me populating the slides. All right, great. So back in Google Classroom, it says students can edit file. Now you'll notice it still says untitled presentation. Don't worry about that because this is linked to these slides. It's not attached. So it is linked in Google Drive. So whatever it says in Google Drive, it will reflect there. In fact, if you go to Google Drive and you change the title, you don't have to do anything in Google Classroom. It is going to automatically update that. So I'm going to go ahead and assign. And now I have given all of my students edit access to this Google Slides. So they're going to come into this. They're going to click on it. They're going to open it up. And they have edit access, right? So what I want them to be in the habit of doing is that they would come in and add a slide. They're going to add a slide. So I'll choose section header, and I want them to put their name down in the speaker notes. Now I'm going to make this font bigger just so that you can see it. So down here below the slide, right below the line, that's where I like them to put their name so that when I share their ideas, it can be anonymous. Sometimes I like to have them put their name on the slide, but most of the time I like to have their name in the speaker notes. Now here's a fun trick about that. When their name is in the speaker notes, if I use Control F, so I Control F find Melody. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and change the sharing permissions on this. If Melody would like to jump in, I'm going to get this. Anyone with the link is an editor. Now, using Google Classroom, you don't have to, like all those steps I just did, you don't have to do. That is why we go back to Classroom, because I already set the editing permissions right when I created the assignment. If I want to share it with somebody outside of Classroom, look at all those clicks that I had to do. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put that over here if you wanted to add a slide. Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to add another slide, pretending I'm another student. I'll be John. And on this one, I can be Cha. And all right, I'm not going to get too crazy on here, but again, one of the things I love about Google Slides is that it is multimedia. So not only can the students share their ideas with text, they can share their ideas with images. All right, it's just more fun for me when I see students have used multimedia elements like images and video and audio. You can embed audio into Google Slides and make for a more fun presentation. Okay. Melody, you're going to add a slide, put your name in the speaker notes, see how this works. I just want to demonstrate the collaboration, even though it's only me and Melody in here. She's hiding down below, even though she looks super pretty tonight. Oh, here we go. Yay. Sabina, awesome. She's down there. So now look, when I'm on this first slide, I'm not on Melody's slide. I'm going to Control F find, and I'm going to type Melody. And I'm going to push enter. And it takes me to Melody's slide. So you see how it found her name down in the speaker notes. So I get all the students in the same Google Slides. I have them put their name in the speaker notes so I can do it anonymously. And then I can just use Control F to find where their slide is. So you can see right now that her slide is slide 3. Now I'm going to add several more. I'm not going to get too clever here on these slides. I just want to get several of them. All right, so I now have 7 slides in my presentation where the students have added a slide in no particular order. It's just the order that they jumped in. So what I would normally do is I'm on the slides, the students have added their slide, they've given their idea, and now we want to talk about their ideas. So all I have to do is come over and click the present button. So you're looking in the upper right hand corner, it has the present button. I click present and I use the arrows where I am presenting through their ideas, right? So each of their ideas gets to be shared and we have conversations about it. So the only flaw in this, well, there's a couple of them. Nothing is perfect. This actually works out really well for me because I do it often. Again, this is one of my favorite activities. Thank you, Ramona. This is from the book. You're throwing me off, girl. Heather Lyne has a book, Engagement is Not a Unicorn, It's a Narwhal. And I love this book. And I'm collaborating with Heather right now. So I would encourage you to get that. That is a side note. Thanks for that. That's going to be really helpful. I love everybody collaborating on the same one. It just makes things more fun. Like all of a sudden I look down and I see that girls just want to have more fun. Thank you for that, Melody, and helping me out with this activity. All right, so I'm going to jump back here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use Randomize Slides by Schoolytics. Now, this is a free add-on. It is a free add-on for Google Slides, Randomize Slides by Schoolytics. And who made this? It was me. I coded it. So I work part-time for Schoolytics. So if you go to schoolytics.com, this is free for teachers. And in part of my work, I've been able to code this free add-on, collects no user data, no PII. So it's totally safe to use because I love students interacting and collaborating. And this is one of the tools that's going to help me to help share student ideas. So now I'm in this Google Slides and I have all the student ideas in the slides. And then I'm going to come up to the add-ons menu. Now, if in the add-ons menu, you don't have Randomize Slides by Schoolytics, just come here to Get Add-ons. So I'm going to come down to Get Add-ons. And I'm just going to search for Schoolytics. Schoolytics. I just look up Schoolytics, and you can see that the Randomize Slides is going to come right up. I am working on creating several add-ons as part of my work at Schoolytics. So you can just go ahead and search Schoolytics in. Right now I have one for docs and I have one for slides, but I have some more coming. And so you can search whichever tool you're in to see what kind of fun things that I am working on to make for you. And then I'm just going to go ahead and install this. I'm going to authorize it. And again, collects no user data, no PII. The only thing it does is randomize the slides. So now that I have installed that, I should be able to go up to the add-ons menu. And now I have Randomize Slides by Schoolytics. Now this is going to be there all the time, no matter what slides you open. So you see that I installed it. I open up a slides. It's going to be there, Randomize Slides, and I'm going to show the sidebar. Show sidebar. And come down here where it says Randomize Slides, and I choose Randomize Slides. And you can see it has shuffled. So now we have Melody and Sabina up at the top. I'm going to click it again, randomize. Where did it put you guys? Now you're down at the bottom. Randomize. Back up at the top. How random is this feeling? That actually is part of randomization. And now it's number 5, right? So I'm able to shuffle all of the slides so that when I go and I click the present button, I click present, and I'm sharing student ideas in a random order. And so everyone's ideas gets to be shared, but not necessarily in the order I had them. And sometimes I don't have time to go through all of them. So by randomizing the slides, I'm able to randomly select a few that we can have a class discussion on. Of course, everyone sees all of the ideas, regardless of if I share all of the ideas with the class. And that's one of the things I love about slides is everyone gets a voice. Everyone puts their ideas on a slide and everyone gets a voice using that. So again, all you have to do is go to the add-ons menu, Randomize Slides by Schoolytics, show the sidebar, and just click Randomize Slides. And it's going to shuffle those all for you really quick and easily. And so this is a tool that I needed for myself since I do teach high school math. I teach math part-time. And I love to use Google Slides with my students, and I have them share an idea. Here's one of the things I'll say is, share a math problem you struggled with. Why give me the ones you know? Show me ones that you want to talk about and discuss so that we can have conversations about it. So they're going to add a slide, and then we're going to randomize them using this sidebar, and then have a conversation about several of the problems for as much time as I have available. Sometimes I have time to do them all, and sometimes I do not. Now, speaking of, if you have any questions, please feel free to post comments. We are available to answer questions. And if you're not watching this live or you don't have a question right now, please make sure that you're joining at backtoclassroom.org because the conversation is going to keep going at this Facebook group. And please do remember, you might have to push enter twice. Okay, so I hope that you have learned how you can go to Google Classroom, create an assignment, add, oops, that's a YouTube video. That was me not being patient enough. Add slides. Bop on back here. I'm going to number it, number 059. Collaborate, and I change it from view to edit. I change it from view to edit. And I go ahead and assign. And I can still even change this to number 59. Collaborate on here, even after I've assigned it, because it is reading the title from Google Drive. It's not reading it from Classroom. And then I have students add slides. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go to the add-on menu. I choose Randomize Slides by Schoolytics, show the sidebar, and randomize the slides. So it's really quick and easy. I hope this is something that you can add into your toolbox of things that you do with your students this year is collaborate on Google Slides. So I will see you at backtoclassroom.org. Thank you for joining.